Good evening, friends. Welcome again to Word of Gord. This is the Japanese Tsunami retrieval update, part 2. Part 1 is already up there. You'll see it's 8 minutes long, although I did record a 14.5-minute statement, which was somehow truncated in the upload in some very mysterious fashion, which I cannot understand at all. Because I watched it slowly update, all 14.5 minutes, and then it suddenly turned into this 8-minute video, chopped in the middle. Interestingly enough, right when I started to describe the aspect of Gordon, the second aspect of Gordon, going down underneath the water and into the ruined buildings, or just ruins generally, where the dormant spirits, trapped spirits, were suspected to be still in or near the dead bodies, the dead mangled bodies. This is often the case in earthquakes and such disasters. We found this over many earthquakes in the last, at least the last 10 years or so that I've been doing it. So you, me and others, go under, you project a light. Imagistically, you can place it at the end of your hand as though you had a spotlight in your hand, and it lights up the murky, gloomy, dark, muddy water, and you can see what's there, because normally you just wouldn't be able to see hardly anything at all, and you could very easily get lost too. So you go down until you find what you suspect are bodies in the wreckage or the rubble, call it what you will, and you send out a telepathic message, any number of things. Wake up, here I am, come to me, I'm here to save you, whatever. You don't have to speak Japanese. Telepathy has this magical quality of being quite international, and I've noticed this with earthquakes in several countries in the Middle East and South America, with tornadoes, etc. Landslides, tornadoes, all that sort of thing. And it's one of the great magical mysteries of doing retrieval work is, why can I, an English-speaking person, communicate with anybody? Well, telepathy is a universal language, and that's all I can say. I've seen it work time and time again, and so have all the other retrievers. So you just learn to accept the miraculous when you're doing this sort of work. Because if you don't, and you let doubt and skepticism take over, the experience will shut itself down in the very early stages. You will not get past the beginner's steps, because your doubt keeps bringing down an iron curtain and not allowing you to have an experience, essentially. So you light up these darkened areas of the wreckage and rubble, call to the spirits. They come to you out of grateful trust, or they're not sure quite what it is. They see you as a lighted being. Perhaps they see you as an angel or a messenger of God, or any sort of culturally appropriate designation that will fit their image of the miraculous or the transcendent or the divine. And you gather them in a sort of circle of energy, and you move on up. And as you move up out of the water with all of them in, it's like the circle of energy becomes an extension of your arms. And you execute, as you're moving them up, another intention, and that intention is to change levels. And you move up several levels to where there are camps set up. Sometimes there are camps with tents and open fires and pots of soup going and all that sort of thing, and sometimes there are little villages that are appropriate to the culture that you're retrieving. So in this case, it would be like small Japanese villages and towns that these people would feel comfortable going into. And these are all set up by thought ahead of time by permanent residents in the spirit world, because they seem to always know when disasters are about to happen. And it's amazing to me that they do know this, but they do. They have advance warning of this sort of thing. Perhaps not quite the severity, but the general occurrence, they know. So you let off your people, they're taken by greeters, by helpers who are very happy to take them off your hands, and off they go, and you go back down and get some more. And you keep doing this circular trip until you feel that you've exhausted your supply of, shall we say, psychic energy, psychic ability, and or you may need to come back to your body and lead your normal life. But there's always others. There seem to be always others to take over the job, so you needn't worry about that sort of thing. The idea is to participate and be part of a human chain of aid, compassion, sympathy, love. You know. Whereas perhaps hundreds of years ago, when we lacked these abilities, or maybe even just 100 or so years ago, angelic beings and discarnate humans were the ones that did this kind of work. And I would say in the last, I'm guessing smartly here, I'd say the last 100 years, incarnate humans who are either asleep and out of their body or meditating and projecting have been aided, taught to participate in these retrievals. So, I think I've covered a good part of what was missed on the last video. I would like to cover a couple more points. This is sent to me by a friend on email. It's a memory of his of an out-of-body experience that he saw in a book some years ago. And it gives you an idea of the power of prayer. And this sort of thing has been written about in several out-of-body and near-death experience books, but I think this one is as good as any. The driver of a mangled vehicle found herself floating above the wreckage scene. From that vantage point, she could see the rescue workers tending the victims of a multi-car collision. She even saw her own body trapped in the crumpled auto. But what really entranced her were streaks of light that were emerging from the cars, inching past the carnage. Curious, she drifted over to see the source of these light beams and suddenly realized that these were the prayers offered by the passers-by. What's more, she could see angels responding to the cries for help on behalf of the victims. So I hope that encourages you folks out there who would like to pray and are praying but wonder just how effective it is. I know a lot of evangelical Christians have no doubts about this sort of thing, and all power to them for maintaining their faith. But there's a lot of you in the middle who perhaps are doing it as a ritual that maybe you don't have full or complete belief in. And I would like to encourage the growth of that belief by stories like that, and assuring you from my own experience that prayer and meditation, the sending of light and love, does aid in all these situations. It lightens the atmosphere, it quickens the vibration, it lessens the terror and anxiety, and facilitates the work of the rescuers. Believe me, it does. So, and with the news that we are now attacking Libya, I can see that we will be continuing this work there, although perhaps not to the great extent of casualties. But as I said earlier, in war zones, this retrieval activity and this sending of light onto the surface to provide a channel for those who wish to escape the anger and hatred and fear and violence goes on these war zones, and it is going on in Libya. So, with that, keep your fingers crossed that this one will upload properly. Please, please, please. Attempt number 3. And I leave you in love, generosity, good feelings, and I extend the brotherhood of man to you all in these times of negativity and sadness and tragedy. all in this together. And I'm sure we will pull through. We always have in the past. And we will pull through again. Radiation or no radiation. Thank you all for your attentions. Goodbye for now.